Mpumalanga police now launching a manhunt for a rapist who's been preying on children as they walk to school. In fact, two pupils, 16 and 17 years old, were ambushed and raped at gunpoint in Mzinti yesterday. They were on their way to attend an early morning class when the suspect pointed a gun at them and forced them into a nearby bush. Police have urged pupils to be vigilant, especially when they're walking in secluded areas. Now let's bring in Colonel Donald Mdhluli. He's the spokesperson for Mpumalanga Police. We'll also bring into the conversation, hopefully, the spokesperson for community safety in the province, Musi, or Moeti Musi. But for now, Colonel Mdhluli, thanks very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. Just your first reaction to what is such an incredibly worrying story. Pupils who no doubt have their guard down in some ways, walking to and from classes with fellow learners.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and also good afternoon to the viewers. Indeed, it's a very disturbing story because the learners were actually going to have early classes around 6:30 on Monday, 2 September. That's when they came across this guy who was armed with a firearm, and unfortunately, both of them were raped by this suspect that we are looking for. A case has been opened with 2 counts of rape. We have not yet located the suspects, but just before I actually joined this conversation, I was speaking to one of the investigation officers. They are following some leads in making sure that this guy is arrested before he can prey on other learners.
I'm just taking a look at the release of the latest crime statistics that tells us from April to June of this year, there were 646 rape cases in Mpumalanga. And in fact, that was a 5.2% increase from the same period in 2023. The scourge of gender-based violence in your province, what is the plan outside of offering advice for learners to avoid secluded areas?
Yes, indeed, this is a worrying factor. However, police are on board in trying to ensure that the suspect thereof. If maybe I can also indicate that we also had arrests on these suspects. If you can check on our convictions, we had a serial rapist who was actually luring the victims using Facebook and all that. And we caught that person as I'm talking to you. Most of these suspects are behind bars. But however, we also have the challenge of these incidents happening in houses. Some you find that it's members of the families, the uncles, the stepfathers and brothers and things like that. So this is a challenge that also needs us to indicate that the community should also play part, because it shows that there is some kind of moral decay in the society, of which we are trying our best. We're working with other stakeholders to try and address that. So we are hopeful that we'll make much impact as time goes on.
Let's bring in Moeti Musi, who is the spokesperson for community safety in Mpumalanga. Moeti, are you able to hear us? It's Michelle Craig, Newzroom Afrika. All right, apologies for that. We'll try and continue to get him on the line. But Colonel Mdhluli, as we continue our conversation, this is perhaps one of the worst cases of rape in a country that struggles with things like education outcomes. We talk about our children having to walk long distances to school, using substandard transport, having to cross bridges and rivers to try and get an education. I mean, these young learners, 16 and 17 years old, attending an early morning class, effectively to try and better their lives, and this is the outcome.
Indeed, it's very disturbing indeed, because these learners are trying, as you are indicating, to try and improve their lives. Because if you check even in that area, Mzinti, it's rural areas. It's a rural area where there are also social challenges. However, when we come across such a thing, it becomes a concern to us. However, we are also having the campaigns that we run in the public, even at schools, in trying to ensure that these kind of things don't happen. And it's regrettable when something like this has happened. However, the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit are trying to make sure, I believe that with a short space of time, the suspect will be arrested and brought to book.
In terms of just, in the immediate aftermath of this horrific incident, will police be deploying more officers in Mzinti?
Yes, indeed. We also circulated when they were busy yesterday, trying to look for him, showing our members, trying to make sure that they locate these suspects. Besides that, we have put in place, as I indicated to you, the FCS unit localized in that area of Tonga specifically, with regard to well-trained officers, the investigators that are being led there to ensure that this type of challenge is addressed. So they've made some inroads in regard to that. It's just that I might not be alluding one by one, but we had serial rapists that were arrested in that area around nearby places where we had life sentences with regard to those who were preying on women in that area. So we believe even on this one, he will be caught. And we also believe that as we work together with our stakeholders, the Community Police Forum will be able to ensure that he doesn't continue with what he did to these two young learners.
At the very least, can our children be safe while trying to get an education? Colonel Donald Mdhluli is the spokesperson for police in Mpumalanga. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.